I was too afraid to even talk about this situation because I know the hate and backlash that you would receive, and I know how popular it is to hate on the internet personality Ethan Klein, otherwise known as H3H3. If you like him, if you hate him, I want you to watch this whole video before immediately going in the comments and hating on whichever side you're on. I was a huge fan growing up. Huge fan. But I kind of dropped him once he started focusing purely on his podcast and not making any content for his actual channel. And recently, I've been seeing more hate towards H3H3. People call him a Zionist, even though he's proven time after time that he's not. He just believes in a two-state solution. He said that he's pro-Palestine, but people don't care. Instead, they believe that any money he's donated will be used as toilet paper because they would rather wipe their ass with any sort of funds that he's provided to these people that just desperately need help. No matter what side you're on, if you're pro-Israel or pro-Palestine, why is this such a difficult concept to understand that there are innocents on both sides of this war? There are innocents on both sides, and none of them deserve to just die. You could say one side is doing more harm than the other, but it still doesn't change the fact that there are innocent people in those countries. Just because Ethan Klein believes in a two-state solution and not a one-state solution, and believes that even though he is pro-Palestine, he still wants the civilians of Israel to not be harmed in any way, somehow it's seen as a controversial take. And the fact that people like bitching about the fact that Elo was an IDF soldier. She was a fucking secretary. A mandatory year of service in her country that she was born from. 1 year of her being a secretary. But yet they love using this as a point whenever they talk about anything involving him. All I'm asking is for you to actually look into the details of what Ethan is saying. Keemstar's opinion doesn't really fucking matter. But the fact that he's on his side is insane. Because I consume multiple different forms of media to ensure I have the right opinion on something. I am the kind of person that takes the middle ground and listens to both pieces of media before making my own decision. I decided to actually watch the podcast. I'm not really going to get into the Hassan and H3 beef. His beef with Hassan has opened my eyes that he is not crashing out. He is genuinely saying shit that makes sense, but instead the people are refusing to even listen to his points. I've looked into both sides, and all I could say is that Ethan Klein is literally in the right, and even more so after the content nuke, but so many refuse to watch it. But if you actually got down and listened to it, you could see that the criticism that Hassan's receiving is valid. And Hassan, you need to listen and actually watch the content. You don't want to. I don't understand why. You say you want to debate him. Just watch the video, but instead you'd rather do other shit than watch it. Just watch his actual points instead of getting regurgitated out from people that don't like him. Because you're going to keep forming the same opinion of, I don't like H3 issues, I'm going to believe everything these people have to say. Which is the sad thing, because anti-fans or Snark ignore what his Ethan's points and embellish what he says, even if it doesn't make any fucking sense. What's happening with Reddit is scary. There are so many people on Reddit that are defaming him and are saying shit that they shouldn't be saying that are lies. And if you actually listen to the things that Ethan Klein was saying and compare it to what the subreddit's saying or doing, you could see immediately that they're in the wrong, that the Snark is in the wrong. But instead, when Ethan Klein threatened legal action towards these subreddits, it's seen as H3's crashing out again.
I respect the H3 Snark, and I believe that they're being silenced.
To a point where literally people are falsely calling CPS on Ethan Klein because his dog, a dog that he adopted recently that was a victim from the wildfires, had giardia.
When we adopted Olive, she had giardia. Sonny started having diarrhea, so we suspected he might have giardia. Seeing as that he's an infant, he's crawling around, he's putting everything in his mouth, etc. Makes sense, right? It's obvious. It turned into this whole Snark narrative that there's dog shit everywhere, that Sonny is eating shit and getting giardia.
I'm not gonna explain what it is, but the way it's transmitted is this: if its ass were to graze any surface, there's a chance it's contaminated with giardia. And Ethan Klein went on a podcast and said, "Oh, we got scared that our kids got giardia because Olive had giardia." Makes sense. If the dog's doing anything, there's a chance that any surface its ass touches will get it. And kids tend to walk around, play around, touch everything in sight. It makes sense why he believed his kids might have gotten it. But guess what? He immediately took them to the doctor, and the tests were shown that they never got it, and Olive was treated immediately. But instead, the Snark is saying that the kids were being left unattended, eating dog shit. The snarkers are painting a picture that they're straight up eating dog shit.
And you can't even take care of your fucking kids. Why don't you tell your wife, too? She should be taking care of your kids, too. Both of y'all. Instead, you're posted up complaining about how you got CPS called and they're investigating you, homie. And you're posting on Instagram? Ah. Oh, I hope his kids get taken away from him. Oh, I hope so. They would be so much better off. Fuck.
That makes no fucking sense. He literally said on the podcast exactly what happened. If you actually listen to what Ethan said about the whole situation, you would see it made sense. And then another one, that someone dropped a pill on the ground and one of his dogs ate it. It happens. Dogs eat everything, dude. Dogs will see something and eat it immediately. And guess what? Ethan took him to the hospital immediately. The dog was fine. He took him to the vet multiple times, and the vets kept saying he was okay, only to find out later down the line that he wasn't okay and he passed away. But it wasn't Ethan's fault, and it was an accident. Dogs eat everything. I could literally take a dump on the floor. My dog would probably want to eat it immediately. It happens. Dogs are fucking like that. But no, they use these as ways to call CPS on him. You know who does deserve to get CPS called on them? Ash Trevino. And the fact that her kids haven't been taken away and is a whole other thing. It's a whole other thing. There's a Twitch streamer known as Denims. I don't know how she does this. Will say a point only to be proven wrong literally seconds later.
I really don't want you to create any bad memory here for them. Like, they are 5 and 3.
Create any bad memory for them. You're not forming memories at 3 years old, and it's very rare that you're forming memories at 5 years old. Talking to a random stranger once isn't really memorable for a kid. There's a wide variation about the mean across methods, cohorts. The average age of adults' earliest memories is 3.5 years old. You're not really forming memories at 3.
You literally just read out of your mouth that the average adult starts forming memories at 3.
And guess what? That's around how old Ethan's kids are. Developing memories of CPS coming to their house. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you, Denims, if you're ever watching this, which I highly doubt, I have memories from when I was in diapers still. It's not uncommon for people to have memories of when they were that young. And if you experience something that traumatic as a child, you will remember that. And let me tell you one of my memories from that time period, Denims. This isn't a traumatic one, but here's one nonetheless. It's me sitting in the car ride with my mother in my baby seat, and I yelled at my mom, "Pan," because I wanted bread. And guess what? We went into the store and she bought me bread. That's an example right there of you could still develop memories when you're that young. But for some reason, you want to be annoying. I don't understand this. And then Adam McIntyre, too, is being fucking annoying on the internet, saying he's on the side of Snark. It's insane how so many people are against Ethan Klein without even looking into the situation at all. They take everything at face value. Oh, I don't like Ethan Klein, so whatever this person said must be true. Even if it's as wrong as humanly possible, I'm gonna believe it in face value just because I don't like him. And I want more reasons to not like him. And it's absolutely insane. On my algorithm on TikTok, I get a lot of anti-H3E content, but the thing is, I don't believe any of that shit anymore, because if you actually go and listen to his views and his points, like I've been doing, a lot of this shit is taken so out of context. It's just weird how people love to immediately spin the narrative when it comes to Ethan Klein just because they don't like him. It's insane, and it's starting to get scary with CPS being called on him and Reddit not doing anything about it to even stop the snarkers. But yeah, the Hassan Snark, the Trisha Paytas Snark, the Snark are being taken down for violating their guidelines, but yet the H3 ones are being left up. This whole situation just makes no sense to me. That's why I'm like, what the fuck? So please, if you're on one side or the other, please look into it. Instead of only listening to one side of the media, listen to multiple sides. I started doing that around middle school because I realized that one side of the political spectrum lies and does shit, and the other side does it as well. So I have to listen to both sides to get the real story. So please, do me a favor, please. When it comes to bullshit, look at the bullshit on both sides. Look at it from both perspectives and make your own opinion. And stop being told by your favorite influencers what to think. And instead make your own decisions. Being on the internet and just seeing so many hateful people out there, that don't even get the big picture. I've lost friendships because I've told people to actually look into situations and not take it at face value. And what you should do instead is, if you get called out for being wrong, don't double down. Don't double down when you're being wrong. Instead of own up to it, actually take accountability for you being wrong. Because it's starting to get really annoying when you're on the wrong side of the situation, but instead you choose to be even more wrong by doubling down. So please do research, and don't tell me I should do my own research, because I did. I do. Every video I make, at least now, I do research before recording. So please do some research and actually see and check if your opinion actually is the correct one. I'm sorry to say this. As much as you don't like Ethan Klein, he is in the right now for what's going on. And don't use the past to validate your opinions on him. It doesn't matter how much you dislike him. This whole crash out he's doing doesn't change the fact that he's in the right, as much as you may hate it. Just like with Logan Paul, as much as I hate him as a fucking person, he's fucking good in the ring. If you stuck around to the end of the video, let me tell you this. When it comes to anything, be the middle ground and take both sides and make your own opinion. See you guys next time. Bye, peace, and love.
2 to the 1, from the 1 to the 3. I like good pussy and I like good trees. Smoke so much weed you wouldn't believe. And I get more ass than a toilet seat. 3 to the 1, from the 1 to the 3. I met a bad bitch last night in the D. Let me tell you how I made her leave with me.
He's the sort of guy that gets horny when he takes a shit.